Hi everyone, thanks for watching this video today. It's already got a bit of a stir, and I suppose I'm trying to think of all the things that you need when you're at home at the moment in terms of beauty. About 2 weeks ago I did the DIY brow tinting safely at home, and today's video, I suppose I'm just going to focus on people who want to do maybe some facial waxing at home and how to go about it in a safe way. So over the weekend I picked up this little kit. It's the Dimples kit and it's the wax facial strips for sensitive skin. I picked this up in Rose Finley Pharmacy in Tullamore and it retails at $4.95. So if you're considering doing waxing on the face or on any area at home and you haven't done it before, as always I would stress to absolutely take precaution, and as it does say on the box, do a 24-hour patch test beforehand. So over the weekend I did a patch test here on my wrist with the strip. You literally just warm the strip up with your fingers here. So the strips come in this little form. Again, all the pictures I will post up after this. So all you're doing is you're literally heating this up between the fingers. Okay. So you're going to separate the two strips, and then I'm just going to place it on the wrist here and take them off. Leave on for about a minute or so if you like, or less if you want, and take it off and leave the area 24 hours. If you have any signs of irritation, reddening, of the skin, itchiness or any way of discomfort, straight away it will show on a patch test, and therefore that will give you the red or the green light to go ahead with the face, because obviously on the face you want to make sure you're very careful. So that is the first thing I will absolutely stress. A patch test is so important when you're going to do facial waxing on the skin. The second area, which is so important for any of you out there who are currently on active skincare, and what I mean by this is any skincare range with vitamin C, vitamin A, glycolic acid, salicylic acid, lactic acid, or any of the active skincare ranges. If you're not coming to me, I would advise you not to do some facial waxing. Again, as the skin will be turning over at a quicker rate, the skin is quite fresh and very sensitive, even to sunlight, which you're already aware, and obviously the importance of SPF, which is a separate conversation. But if you are using active skincare, please get in touch with your regular beauty therapist, your skincare specialist, who will advise you. But generally the rule of thumb is once you're on active skincare treatment, I would rule out facial waxing altogether. And I would take the advice of your skincare specialist. Again, that's very important. Number one, the patch test, and number two, if you're undergoing active skincare at the moment, avoid waxing of the skin completely. Okay. So if you're on all of that and you're still going to go ahead and you've done your patch test, you're not on active skincare, and you're 100% that you want to go ahead with this, perfect. So what I've done is today I'm going to show you the upper lip. Again, you can use these facial wax strips for the chin, other areas of the face, but the most common one, you can also use it on the brows. The most common one for me is the upper lip. Okay, so the strips generally come in this kind of a size. I generally like to wax in smaller areas because it just means there's not as much pull on the skin. So what I've done is I've just got a scissors and I've cut the strip in half. So I've cut the strip in two here. Okay, so before we even get to prepping the strip, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure the area is clean. So I've no makeup on today, but I just want to clean around the area to make sure there's no oil or there's no anything on the skin that might irritate. So I'm just using some rose water. You can also use some cool water if you prefer that as well. And I'm just going to simply clean down the area. Now for me, again, I like to do, some people don't like to do the under lip, but I like to do under the lip then as well. So I'll clean around that area, and that's your prep. Again, in the kit they also give the Aftercare cream, so I'm just going to take a little bit out of that at the end. So I'm just going to cut this open so we have it at the end. Okay, The aftercare is actually just as important. So once you're finished the waxing, remember that the pore will be wide open, and what we want to do is slowly close that pore back down. So I would avoid using any makeup on the area for the rest of the day. Most people will have no problem with that, and also avoid any major heat or steam. If you have a sauna in your house, avoid the sauna, any major heat or anything like that. Facial tanning products, again, active skincare, if you're starting to use or even tempted to use it, completely avoid that for 24 if not 48 hours depending on the skin. Okay, so once we've got the skin cleared down, the next thing I want to do is I just want to heat this wax up between my fingers. Now again, we're lucky at this time of year because generally the heat of your hands is enough to kind of soften this wax a little bit. Again, you can always kind of just leave out in an area that kind of gets natural kind of sunlight. You don't need to heat these strips at all. So once you're happy that they're kind of warmed up, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to separate the strip. Okay. So what we're going to do is when we're going to place it, we're going to divide the lip into 4. So from here to the middle, from here to the center of the lip, and again on the other side. So 4 kind of areas, and I do the same with the bottom as well. Okay, so I'm going to start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place it the furthest part away, so which is under kind of my nose, and I'm going to place it down here and then move back. Okay. And again, we're just going to make sure that's nice and taut there. Now, for some of you, this will be a complete no-no because you're just like, I couldn't do this to myself. So what we're going to do next is you're just going to hold the skin here, and we're going to work back up towards the nose. So we lay it down from the nose to the edge of the mouth, and now when we pull, we're going to pull from the mouth back along the growth of hair to pull the root. Okay, so just hold here, don't show any mercy. 1, 2, 3, and go. All right, okay. Now, in terms of the removal, which is the most important thing a lot of you are asking me about, that's actually a nice clean removal. It's a good wax. I'm kind of used to doing this kind of thing, so I'm not feeling any major irritation or anything like that that I would, you know, that you could normally get. I'm well used to that. Again, you're finished with that wax strip now, so I'm just going to leave that here. So the next one that I want to do is I've laid that down from the nose to about here. I'm going to lay this down now from about, and try not to overlap areas, so you don't want to kind of keep waxing the one area. I would advise that you just wax one area at a time and don't go over the area again, because you'll only cause more irritation or create a sensitivity problem. So from here outwards, and again we're just kind of settling this along. Some of you are just probably watching this video for the crack. I get a taste of my own medicine inflicting pain on myself. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it out here. Now, for some of you, you might not need to go this far. I know where obviously I have my hair growth, so I kind of like to just get it all. Now hold the skin from here. 1, 2, 3, and go. Okay. Perfect. Now I just see a little one here, so again you can just use the strip and go in the direction. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. So I'm all good there. Okay, so I've done that in 2 neat goes. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the cream here. Just pop it on my disc. And I'm going to just gently tap with the disc. The main thing is be gentle with the skin. And after this, that's actually really nice and cooling as well. It's an aloe vera based. So obviously if you have any allergies to aloe vera, probably don't use the cream afterwards. And again, do your patch test, or if you're not too sure, do the patch test of the cream and do your patch test of the waxing beforehand. Okay, so I won't do all of the skin. I just want to keep this video nice and short, but this is where you could kind of see the most. So again, just to make sure you lay it down. So lay it down from the nose outwards, and then when you're pulling back, you're holding the skin here and pull from the point outwards back towards the nose, if that makes sense. So against the hair of the grain or braided hair. Okay, so I'm just going to do this corner from here to here then, for any of you who do under the lip. So I'm just kind of warming up this strip again. So if you have any questions after this, feel free to post them to me or send them to me. I know some of you are just itching to get these kind of things done. But again, these all can be done safely at home. And again, it doesn't hurt, but again, don't be shy in pulling out. You need to make sure the pull is quick. Okay, so we're just going to separate this here. Alright, so I am going to start from here to here. So I'm going to lay down from the outer part of the lip. And I'm just going to press it along here. Okay. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to kind of pull back this way. So I would hold from here. 1, 2, 3. There you go. And again, avoid with your other hand. Obviously, you're using clean hands anyways, but avoid kind of tapping the area or touching the area too much. Some of you may ask me, now this is my other strip. Oh yes, so while we're here, I'm going to come in then the next way. So I'm just going to lay it down from here and move back to the center, if that makes sense. Okay, just make sure it's well onto the skin. And then 1, 2, 3. And again, you can hold your skin taut by doing this, no more on the upper lip. You can hold the skin taut that way as well. Okay, so that's done, and that's done. Okay, next part is the cooling part of the cream, which is really, really nice. So you only need a small bit of cream, like I'm only putting on a little bit. And actually, there's loads in here, so if you are brave enough and you're doing leg waxing and the whole lot, you know, the cream will go a long way. Anything with aloe vera as well, if you've been out in the sun and you have gotten yourself burnt a little bit, that post aloe vera cream is really good for areas as well. Okay, right. So bear in mind, I've just kind of got all this kind of area done. Again, you're going to do the same on the other side. So if you were laying down, these are just these aren't prepared. But again, if you were laying down, you would start here, lay down from the nose, work outwards, and then you're going to pull back against the grain of the hair. Same for the second section. Lay it down from here, work outwards to the very outer corner, and then you're going to pull back towards the nose. So you're always pulling back towards the nose, and from here you're always pulling. I was pulling from here outwards, and again, if I was doing it here, I'm going to pull from here outwards. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And then it's really, really important to use the cooling cream afterwards to take away any excess stickiness, and then I would just leave the area. So some people say to me, will you get spots? Depends on the skin. And it's the, you know, or some people might come to me, and even myself, they might get a spot the one time they do the wax, and another time they might be fine. Sometimes it all depends on how the pore has managed to successfully close down afterwards. If you're someone who likes to touch the skin, and we're trying to avoid touching the skin anyways at the moment, you will find that you should minimize the risk of kind of getting any bumps. If you're not used to waxing and that area is getting waxed for the first time, again, this might be new to the skin, so you may experience a few little bumps over the next few days, but leave them and let them clear up themselves. If you already have a cold sore there around the lip area in particular, do not wax. Leave until the area is completely healed before you touch it with wax. Okay, so just to go over the safety, and I can't stress the importance of preparing in advance if you're going to do facial waxing. First thing is do your patch test on your wrist at least 24 hours in advance. If you've no skin irritation, you've got the green light. Second thing is, if you are on any way of active skincare with any of the acids I've mentioned, vitamin C, vitamin A, glycolic acid, salicylic acid, lactic acid, and there are others, but they're the main. Hyaluronic acid is safe. You don't have to worry about that. That is no problem in terms of waxing. But again, avoid waxing altogether if you are on any active skincare products. If you are unsure, either message me or message your skincare specialist if it's something that you're considering, the facial waxing. The next thing then is to make sure you prep the area. So make sure you clean it down either with some rose water or some cool water to make sure that all the makeup, any residue is emitted. carry out the procedure like I've described. Make sure you use your aftercare cream, and then leave the area. So your aftercare is just as important. So no heat, no steam, no facial, no putting on sun factor on top after, no putting on of makeup after. Leave the area completely. If you find in a few hours time the area is still a little bit heated, what I would do is just get a cotton disc like this, some really cold water, and just tap it over. And all you're trying to do there is slowly close the pore back down. Avoid anything getting into the pore that's going to cause any spots or any irritation in the next coming days. Remember, this is just one of the packs I've picked up. It's not that I picked up this for any reason, but again, it's just one of the packs I picked up. I liked it because it was for sensitive skin. It's $4.95, and again, just if you're doing it at home, you've got all the tips now to carry it out safely. Any questions, you can message me directly. Hope you found this beneficial, and again, I know what it's like when you get those random hairs removed. It's just like a weight is lifted off, and I know I always have a laugh in the salon when a client leaves me and they feel just kind of lifted and their hair has been removed. So I hope you found this video useful. Again, I'm going to post it up to YouTube, and I'll also post it onto the social media channels, and if anything, look at it, you can enjoy me inflicting some pain upon myself. So have a great evening, and I will talk to you soon.